for that.
Yup, and we are alive. Some of us more than others. This is
Really?
Ari the Data Queen, joined by halfway dead analyst Told Matt Muscardi.
I'm feeling fine.
You don't sound that great. Jesse the Money Whisperer and Hazelnut Rollins.
Yeah.
Today.
Hazelnut.
Oh, I gotta start getting hazelnut for Friday.
December 8th. Don't worry. When you come here the next time, I'll
It'll
get
be
you
your
some more
Hanukkah
hazelnut.
present.
Can't wait.
Yeah, first day
Oh, yeah,
of
hazelnut
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
First night of Hanukkah last night, Damien.
All right,
But
don't single
on
me out.
today's weekly wrap-up, we have oil, nuns, and trees, among other things.
What? Oil, nuns,
Wait.
and trees.
Wait, I want to hear that again.
These are
We have
all
what?
these are all Ari's
Oil.
articles.
Oil, nuns,
And trees?
and trees.
How did trees get involved? I understand the first two.
Yeah, I want to know
You'll
about.
have to wait.
Stupid
I hope
trees.
they're all in the same story. Is what I'm hoping. Oily nun trees.
We have story of the week, goodliest of the week, assholiest of the week, and exhaustingest of the week.
Oh.
Yes, let's get into it.
Yeah, Damien, why don't you take it away? Start us off.
High energy today.
What happened, Damien? What happened?
All right, I got 5 this week, but the last,
Wow,
Lord,
lots happened.
but they're relatively short, and the last 2 are just
We'll be
ways.
the judge of that.
The last 2 are just ways of plugging our company and our product. The first one, the first headline is head of climate conference who happens to be an oil CEO says, actually, fossil fuels are fine. And of course, I'll do the work for you, journalists. This guy has a name. It's Abu Dhabi National Oil Company CEO Sultan Ahmad Al Jabbar. That's his name.
All right.
We covered this earlier this week. He basically said, fossil fuels are fine, but now he's actually backtracked on that. He has some weird apology out. So I want to just read the weird apology because it makes everything much clearer. When I say that, I mean not at all. I have said over and over that the phase down and phase out of fossil fuels is inevitable. This transition is essential. It needs to be orderly, fair, just, responsible, and well managed. I am quite surprised at the constant and repeated attempts to undermine this message.
That was a lot of adjectives.
But he just undermined it. I don't understand.
He jumped like 7 minutes ago. He was undermining it.
What kind of an apology is that? I love how he says it's inevitable, too. Like, he's obviously pissed off about that.
I actually like that he acts like he's surprised. Like, hey, I'm
Matt,
quite surprised.
I want to just repeat to the audience, just so it sinks in again. The CEO of an oil company was the head of the climate conference. COP28.
Yes, finally.
Think about that.
Some representation in climate change.
I mean, he's saying it's inevitable, but it'll probably happen by 2098.
Probably
You
right.
know? That's what he's hoping
That
for.
is inevitable, though, eventually.
And sometime.
4 miles.
Next headline, Pfizer CEO slams Harvard, MIT, and UPenn's president, saying one of the most despicable moments in the history of U.S. academia. I think, Matt, you're going to cover this a little bit later, but there's a bit of a battle brewing between Ivy League college, university presidents, and CEOs of all people. But this guy, I'll do the work for you, journalists. This guy actually has a name. It's Albert Bourla.
But I like this. The story of the week is that the people have
Yes,
names.
this is why I'm picking these stories.
I
All right.
like that.
Let's just keep moving. Next story is about greedflation. This is out of The Guardian. Corporate profiteering significantly boosted global prices. Okay, so the report finds that company profits increased at a much faster rate than costs did, despite what all the CEOs are saying. CEOs appear to have used the panic of rising costs to pump up their balance sheet. In fact, let's not forget, CEOs' realized compensation jumped 30% between 2019 and 2021.
Wow.
And The Guardian also pointed out that this is not just a problem with the oil and gas sector. Yes, ExxonMobil's profits jumped from 15 billion to 53 billion. Shell also up 28 billion. But people, this is also happening in the food industry. Archer Daniels Midland profits up from 1.4 billion to 3.2 billion, and Kraft Heinz
Wow.
from 265 million to roughly 2 billion. So they're all taking advantage of you people. All the CEOs. And you know what? Again, I'm going to repeat. What these fake costs did not affect on any level was CEO pay.
Yeah.
They didn't. Wouldn't that be a natural place to save a little money? Is to lower all the named executive officer pay?
Damien, where's the part where you say this is Biden's fault? I'm waiting for that shoe to
I'll let
drop.
Jesse say that. Next
Is
story.
this legal?
Yes. What?
Is this legal?
Lying to the public? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Have you been around since 2016?
Next.
This is why it's important to know who your boards and CEOs are. Finally, last two stories, just to kind of plug what we do. First one, Facebook and Instagram have become a breeding ground for child predators. The New Mexico Attorney General has claimed in a lawsuit. In response, Meta said it worked hard to root out predators. It's going to work hard to root out.
So hard.
And again, I want to point out that what Meta really means is Mark Zuckerberg. And what Mark Zuckerberg did in the last few months is that he cashed out $200 million of Meta stock in November.
How much, with dual class shares, how much influence does he have over that board, according to our data?
78%.
78%. Yeah, 78%,
Wow.
75%.
But he's working hard to root out predators.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's what he does.
And finally, Elon Musk says Disney CEO Bob Iger should be fired immediately.
Okay.
Those are my 5 stories. I'll recap. The head of the climate conference, head of COP28 is an oil CEO. Pfizer CEO is angry at university professors. Greedflation is a real thing, and it's because of corporate profiteering. Meta is child abuse breeding ground, and Elon Musk wants Bob Iger fired.
Wow, Damien.
A lot. But
Sure.
I went pretty quickly. I went pretty fast.
You went fast, but they all
6
stink.
minutes. Okay, well.
These are a lot. These
Like,
are depressing.
They're depressing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but welcome to my world.
Yeah. Well, I feel like greedflation's not getting enough attention.
I absolutely, Ari, thank you.
That's the only one. That's the only story of your story of the week that didn't hit me like outside you telling us about it.
Okay.
Well, I will also tell you about it, Ari.
Oh,
Very happy
I love it.
today.
I love it.
I'm also going to choose. I mean, I would love to vote for Meta is child abuse, but I don't feel like that's story of the week. Like, we know this.
The story of the last 10 years?
Yeah, we know this.
The-
And yes, he did just cash out, and that is annoying. So I'm glad you highlighted that. But I got to go with Greedflation for story of this.
Wow. I wasn't expecting this.
Well, I was going to pick it too, actually.
Really?
Because the fact is that this will have more impact on the way the elections go globally, the way we
Absolutely.
think about CEOs.
It already
globally.
has had impact. Already has.
Shareholder, I mean, it's the knock-on effect, and that they could actually measure and demonstrate that this is a real thing matters. So I hope somebody reads the report that says this. My guess is they won't.
I mean, at every presidential debate, at least for Biden, it should be about this. Although I guess those are the people that donate to his campaign, so he doesn't want to put them on blast. I don't know, but everyone's going to blame inflation on Biden, and
They already
therefore,
have. Already have. Yep.
So
Wow.
I will say
That's mine
this.
too.
Clean sweep.
that's mine too.
Queen sleep. I will say this. There's a mechanism to use your voice. If you're an investor, go to our product, Free Flow Analytics, and start. I don't know where you want to start. Start with the compensation committee. Maybe just get mad at them for raising CEO pay while they're also raising prices on the American consumer.
Actually, forget what committee they're on. Just look at the worst performing directors.
Sure,
and
do
vote
whatever
them
you
out.
want. You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you how to do
Matt's last dying
Come on.
wish.
Yeah, just because I sound like I'm dying,
it. All right.
it's
Greedflation story of
all
the week.
still there. All right.
All right.
Woo! That means something else. That was the fastest story of the week.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
I
a
got-
record.
I got so many good lists.
Oh, good. Slow us down.
It was difficult to pick just 3, but I only
good.
picked 3. I'm just saying there was a lot of good news this week.
That's
and we're gonna
nice.
start
Love
with
that.
Microsoft, one of our.
Ooh.
Oh, Microsoft. All right, Microsoft signs one of the largest ever science-based deals to remove 1.5 million tons of carbon.
So it's this kind of good news. It's the weird kind of good news where something
but,
bad is happening and someone's trying to do something about it.
This got me excited.
Okay.
Mombach, I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's a carbon removal startup that is starting their large-scale projects with native biodiverse reforestation in the Brazilian Amazon.
Ooh, I like that.
So this is not just, carbon capture and some tech that hasn't been proven. This particular deal will allow the company to reestablish 25 forests containing at least 30 million trees and more than 100 native Brazilian species.
I
it's
love
like
this.
reverse bio destruction, really.
I'm going to say this is pandering to your
To
audience.
Ari?
I don't, but we in shows like 3 years ago, I was deep in on the plant a trillion trees thing. I like trees. So I plant them. I don't know. I like.
We like the Amazon.
I mean,
too.
I don't.
Yup.
They need to be biodiverse.
theory, we like
they need
it.
to be like local trees.
And they
I love
need
it.
to be rehabbed.
I love it.
My
I
only
love
problem,
trees.
my only problem with
This
this
is
is that I don't know when I hear remove
70 years from now, it'll be great.
when I
It
hear
will be done before then.
remove 1.5 million tons of carbon, I just don't relate to that. What is that? Should
Right.
I be proud of CEO
Right.
Satya Nadella for that? Is that
I
a good
wish-
number? I don't know what that means.
I wish that hadn't been the headline.
Well, let's just say that 1.5 million tons is probably like how much Bill Ackman uses yelling at Harvard kids every year. That's probably so
Okay.
you've taken one blowhard out of the universe.
Sure, great.
All right.
what else, Ari?
Number 2 is a double headline. Ready?
Ooh.
Oh,
You're doing
Danish
pulling a
union.
hazelnut Rawless there, yeah.
Joins strike action against Tesla by Swedish workers.
Love that.
And Norway union joins Tesla blockade in support for Swedish workers.
wow.
So, in case you missed it,
Yeah.
Swedish trade union IF Metal, they've been on strike for 6 weeks, and they've been supported by postal workers, electricians, painters, dock workers, all of whom have launched their own sympathy strike against Tesla, right? Like the postal service is not delivering license plates for new cars. I thought that was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Now, there was speculation that Tesla would avoid the Swedish dock worker strike by delivering their cars to Danish ports and transporting them by truck to Sweden.
Tricky.
But on Tuesday, the Danish union, 3F Transport, they have joined in this strike and squashed that potential plan. Then on Wednesday,
Ooh, I like Wednesday.
Norway's largest private sector labor union said it would start blocking transit shipments of Tesla cars meant for the Swedish market. That will begin later this month. Now, one of the things that the
Appropriate
chair
response.
of 3F, Jan Philidsen,
Fledson.
this is the Danish guy, said was, even if you are one of the richest in the world, you can't just make your own rules.
Ugh.
We have some labor
you
market
can.
agreements in the Nordic region, and you have to comply with them if you want to run a
Let's
business
go,
here.
Jan.
Can I add to this, Ari? Pension Denmark, one of Denmark's largest pension funds, also said on Wednesday it has decided to sell all of its Tesla holdings.
Wow. Somebody's actually selling.
So it does matter.
Wait a
So it does matter who the people running your companies are.
Yeah, but it didn't happen because he said anti-Semitic things. and
That
horrible
might be
things
true,
about other
yes.
human
Scandinavia
beings.
does not
That
care
is
about
true.
that.
Only happened
true.
because
Okay.
Their labor.
Can let's acknowledge progress.
Yeah, it's still a
okay,
win.
sure.
They messed
They
with
still
something
sold.
they care about.
Tesla.
But Matt, he didn't say the anti-Semitic remarks as the Tesla CEO. He said it as the owner of Twitter, so it's different.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah,
a different.
it's
he's
okay.
Yeah, that's right. He's a different guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter for the boring company either. Keep digging holes.
Boring company.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, Nuns Against Guns. They're
Yes.
back.
Yes, they are back.
Activist nuns
That
with
voice,
stake
whoa.
in Smith and Wesson. They sue gunmaker over AR-15 rifles.
Thank you, nuns.
So the sisters used their status as shareholders to sue Smith & Wesson earlier this week, alleging that the gun manufacturer is putting the company at risk by popularizing AR-15 style guns used in mass shootings. The sisters want to drastically change the way it markets, makes, and sells its popular version of the AR-15 rifle.
Imagine the first part of that thought, though, that the nuns are shareholders at Smith & Wesson. That boggles my mind.
And this isn't the first, this isn't the first action they've taken against them. Like in 2019, they made them do a report on the safety of their guns. And then in 2020, they tried to make them do something, but that one didn't go through.
This is a tough one,
So
Ari.
they're
I like
back at it again.
These are 3 good choices, Ari.
There you have it. Trees, Danes, and, well, I guess Nordics. And nuns.
I'll go first because this is easy for me.
Go ahead.
Not for everybody else, apparently, who needs to think. There's a drum roll. I can press the drum roll button if you want.
Wait, your vote gets a drum roll?
I did the drum joke. I'm a sucker for trees. I'm voting for trees, and that's the only answer that matters. Mostly because while I want to see Tesla have problems in the Nordics, they waited until after he was an anti-Semitic asshole. They waited until after. They're doing all this stuff simply because he's anti-union now.
Yeah, they care about labor.
I'm going to go.
I can't vote for the other one either.
I'm going to go for Danish unions and all the action in Scandinavia because I like the ongoing momentum of the union movement in general, the labor movement. I just any small victory in the press, anytime you see them pop up and fighting back against something or someone, I think is a win. It's a PR win, and I just hope this keeps moving in that direction. So that's my vote.
All these sympathy strikes, they really got to me.
I'm going to make it exciting for Ari.
Ooh, tiebreaker.
Nice. The Suns.
Jesse,
Suns against guns.
Jesse, I will admit that's where I wanted to vote. It's just that I like takedowns of CEOs. So
sure.
What's Ari?
I liked all of these
dunk
as
on
well.
a CEO.
Wow,
Ari, what's the win? What's the winner?
This is difficult for me.
Oh, well, now we need a drum roll.
Yeah, now we need the drum roll.
However, the strikes against Tesla.
Oh,
and then you came up
the
short.
postal workers, man. Oh, come on. Love it.
I do like that
That
they're not
solidarity
delivering.
is
Yes,
nice.
don't you
license
love
plates.
solidarity?
That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny to me.
All right. Moving on to, as holiest of the week.
I'm going to take my headphones off.
What do you mean, oh no?
Did we have 20 stories this week?
Because I always
No,
feel
there's only 3.
I always feel like I feel high and up after hearing from Ari, and now I got to hear about assholes.
So many good ones.
All right. Well, there's a lot of good assholes every single week.
Just go quickly.
All right. First up is Time Magazine. I'm going to go
Okay.
quickly, mostly because you can't
Time
understand
Magazine.
me.
We did
Yeah.
this last year, didn't we? Mark Benioff's Time Magazine.
Well, this year it's Sam Altman named Time Magazine CEO of the year.
Okay, but not Person of the Year, just CEO of the Year.
No, Taylor Swift is
Yes.
Person of
Oh,
the Year.
you guys.
Yes. Well,
You're stealing all my
Sorry.
shit this week.
but Sam Altman was named as Time Magazine CEO of the Year because all the best CEOs try to push out their board members. They all love some good self-dealing. Altman agreed to buy $51 million of AI chips from a company he backed as the CEO of OpenAI. And it turns out Sam Altman, like every good Silicon Valley bro, is trying to live forever. Here's a headline. Sam Altman invested $180 million into a company trying to delay death.
Oh my God.
Company, please call Matt Moscardi. He needs your services.
Yeah, he sounds like he's getting close to it.
It's emergent.
All right.
So Time Magazine, you don't have to name Sam Altman the CEO of the year.
Okay.
Seriously?
So presumably they did this before the whole scandal, right?
No,
Maybe.
they just
Or
named
did
it
they do it
yesterday or 2 days
after?
Come
ago.
on.
No, but
But they would have had it prepped way before that.
I think
Sure.
you're
They
right,
could have
Ari. 'Cause
changed.
per our headlines, I think that there were 2 clear frontrunners to have the most headlines this year, and it was Elon Musk and Sam Altman. But far and away, the two most talked about CEO. And it doesn't mean just to Time's benefit, their person of the year, the CEO of the year. It's never about like the best or the goodliest. It's just
right. Wasn't Trump one of them?
Yeah, it's just a person kind of in the news the most. And Sam Altman has been in the news just all year.
I'm sorry, CEO of the year. Person
I'm just
of the year,
saying.
I get not
I'm
being
not
the
saying
best,
I
but the
agree.
CEO of the year.
I'm just saying he has dominated the headlines along with your buddy Elon.
They could have made a choice to say like the board member of the year is Helen Toner and make him.
Well, that's Free Float's choice of the year. Maybe we should have a board member.
And then you'd have a little. Instead, what they talk about as him being CEO of the year is that he oversaw the fastest growth of any company
they said
in
that?
history. Yes,
A fan publication.
it's basically
so Benioff is
fucking
kissing his
giant
butt.
circle jerk, and
Okay.
yeah, it's worth saying that Benioff owns Time magazine, and guess who's now running the board of OpenAI? It's ex-Salesforce co-founder Brett Taylor.
All right, Jesse's going to talk about it later, so let's move on from this.
Number 2, COP28.
Oh,
And I mean all
This
of
was also
COP28.
stolen.
all of it. I like
mean
this.
the whole thing.
You can stop here. That's my vote.
Here's the thing. Damien already covered the no science behind fossil fuel elimination thing. Al Gore slammed the summit, the host, saying it's emissions of sword. He, of course, did it from COP28.
Oh,
From his private
there.
jet, yeah.
He's there. So here's what I did, and I had help from Ari on this. They actually posted the list, the total number of attendees this year is 97,000 registered attendees.
Holy crap.
Mind-blowing.
97,000. They did
And
it.
that's
they
not an
grouped
easy
it by,
country to get to.
No, well, that's exactly right. Here's the top 10% of attendees by number of delegates that they sent. 4,400 were from the UAE, so
All right,
they
well, that's
taken
easier
a bus
to
to
get,
get there,
easier,
right?
Yeah.
3,000 from Brazil.
Brazil?
Brazil, 1,000 from
Wow.
China, 1,000 from Nigeria, 1,200 from Indonesia, 1,000 from Japan, 1,000 from Turkey.
Those places are so far away. I mean, Brazil?
So that's just the
How
top
do you need
10%.
Why do you need 1,000 people from Japan?
Don't single out Japan, Ari.
Yeah,
What's
why
wrong
Japan?
with you?
What are you, racist against Japanese people? No, here's the thing. Google now has an algorithm where you can look up the flights from the capitals of each of these countries to Dubai, and it will tell you the estimated carbon emissions per passenger.
If they're flying commercial?
If they're flying commercial.
And we don't know. I mean, a fair percentage of these people flew private, right? Of
And
course.
if they're not flying business class or first class.
Right. This is best case.
This is best case scenario. They all flew coach.
Yeah, which is not remotely possible at this
And
conference.
they all flew nonstop,
Right,
and
yep.
they all flew the lowest emission version of
is
nonstop.
not- this is all a dream, yeah.
These are the numbers I took.
It's a
Okay,
fever dream.
Wow.
Ari helped me with this. The average transatlantic flight carries about 300 people, and that's generous. That's
Yep.
without like nice first class.
That's why I don't fly
accommodations.
anymore, yeah.
And the average Boeing 777 takes about 1,000 gallons of fuel per hour
Wow.
to burn. Well, let's assume that they're all on the average.
Is that right? 1,000?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
1,000 gallons an hour. So this is the math. The top 10% of attendees. Now, the irony here is the most carbon intense was actually the largest delegation that wasn't from the host country. 3,000 from Brazil, 778 kilograms of carbon CO2 per passenger on a 14-hour nonstop flight.
So far away.
The average, the way it works out, and this is all back of the
If
envelope.
it was nonstop. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
If it's nonstop,
Which it wasn't.
64,000 gallons of jet fuel used for just the top 10%, 4.4 million kilograms of CO2. Now, the EPA has a calculator that'll tell you what the equivalent is. Here's the equivalence.
Wait, before you get to the equivalence, what do you mean the top 10%?
I mean, I only gave you the top 10% of attendees, as in the other 90%, like 97,000 people were registered.
Yeah.
And I gave you the top 10%
Okay.
of countries represented.
So whatever you're about to say, in my head, I should multiply by 10?
You should basically, multiply
Oh,
it by 10
geez.
because
Okay.
this isn't the U.S., this isn't Australia.
Oh, God. Okay,
So
go ahead.
Just these people, the equivalent of 201,000 propane cylinders used for home barbecues. They
Okay.
blew through 201,000
Wow.
propane cylinders. 533 million smartphones charging to 100%. 552 homes worth of energy for a full year, or 10,000 barrels of oil. It actually will take just the top 10%, 1.2 years of a wind turbine running to offset just their emissions going to talk about climate change. People,
Just to
this
get
is
there.
Just one way.
that's one way. I didn't do round trips.
Right. No, I
This
think
is
I think
all
Jesse,
one
you're right
way.
though. Jesse, they stayed there. I think they're all living there now.
Yeah.
This is entirely insane. It's entirely insane.
This
that,
should all be on Zoom.
So multiply
Like-
by 20 then.
that we are talking about
Yeah.
so much
This is
climate
sickening.
destruction.
Can we just
to go
vote?
talk
Can we just
about
vote now?
Climate destruction.
I don't get why Brazil needs 3,000 people. there.
Stop
So-
talking about Brazil.
So, so forget about the guy who says there's no climate science that calls for the elimination of fossil fuels. Forget about that. The fact that people went is the real gaslight. The fact that we're having this conference,
Thousands of people.
It's all a
went.
gaslight.
almost
I mean,
100,000 people. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a run for your money here. Because number 3 option is this guy who just won't shut the fuck up.
Oh, but you
Here's the headline.
You pick him every week though.
Billionaire and Harvard grad Bill Ackman suggests Harvard president was a DEI pick.
Oh, is that the new like diss?
Well, so Ackman wrote.
Well, this is why. Can I just say before we get into this? I mean, this is why Bill Ackman has zero credibility to me because he's exposing his value system is corrupt, right? I mean, if he was just focusing on one element of this, I might have some sympathy to him. But he's exposing a horrible, corrupt value system.
Well, let me just say everything I'm about to tell you that he said right now, he said on X. He said on Elon Musk's platform.
Well, yeah.
So he's writing all about anti-Semitism on
All right.
Elon Musk's
Get through
platform,
this
okay?
quickly. It is Hanukkah after all.
There's no way to do this quickly. So he said on X, someone with first-person knowledge told him that Harvard's presidential search had the committee would not consider a candidate who did not meet the DEI office's criteria.
Good. It was time.
Then he said, quote, shrinking the pool of candidates based on required race, gender, and or sexual orientation criteria is not the right approach to identifying the best leaders for our most
Says you.
prestigious universities. And it is also not good for those awarded the office of president who find themselves in a role they would likely not have obtained were it not for a fat finger
well, there's no
on the
proof.
scale.
There's absolutely no proof of that.
Of course not. Just for the record, Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard, went to Stanford, got a bachelor's in econ. She went to Harvard, got a master's and PhD in poli-sci. She was a Stanford professor for 14 years, a Harvard professor and dean for 7 years.
Yeah, but Matt, she didn't go to
authored
Yale or
10
Princeton or
books of papers.
Cambridge. She didn't go to
She literally
Oxford.
knew- She knew
didn't go
the
to
entire
MIT.
board of people who hired her. She knew everybody involved. She's like an excellent candidate to run
All right, we
a
get off it.
university.
Yeah, I feel bad even defending Claudine Gay against that because it's just nonsense talk. It is just nonsense.
So he wrote a long letter to Gay, which he put
Good for
on
him.
X,
Good for him.
that outlined how effectively, I think the gem here was this quote from his letter. And this is where I'll end it because I'll make it difficult for you. Quote, the problems at Harvard are clearly not just about Jews and Israel. It is abundantly clear that straight white males are discriminated against in recruitment and advancement at Harvard. That is also apparently true to a somewhat lesser extent for men who are Asians or of Indian origin.
I can't.
Can I tell you, we have like a name for this thing in my home. Whenever there's like a prominent Jewish person that really sucks, the key to our Harvey Weinstein and Bernie Madoff. My mom does a thing where she shakes her head and she says very quietly, "Why did he have to be Jewish? Why does he have to be Jewish?" And this is what we think about. But this is what we think about Bill Ackman because it's like he doesn't represent us. Shut the f up! Like really, just go away.
So he blames the Office of Diversity at Harvard, and he says they're an important culprit in this discrimination on campus as it, quote, sees the world in a framework of oppressors and the oppressed, where the oppressor's class includes white males, Asians, Jews, and other people perceived to be successful and powerful.
What I can't understand that Bill Ackman doesn't know is that he himself is increasing anti-Semitism by just being an a-hole. And that's just the reality of this situation.
this is my job here is to trigger.
All right,
my job is not to have an opinion because you have to vote Time Magazine, COP28.
I'm voting COP28. My vote's easy.
Wow, that's
my vote is easy.
Oh wow.
Well, Matt, you gave some compelling data there. That was great evidence. And we talk about Bill Ackman way too much. I feel like, am I allowed to ban him now permanently from the show?
No, not if we can't ban
Well,
Elon
you're not
Musk
the host
from our
anymore,
show,
but Ari can, I think.
No, I mean from all the shows, Jesse.
From every show ever.
I'm just sick. Because Matt, I mean, he's
guess
really,
that's in your purview.
But he's really jumped the shark now. I mean, I guess I'm glad, Bill, that you're exposing yourself now for this idiocy. But he's really going to a new place now, right? I mean, can't we admit it's not about students protesting. This is not about anti-Semitism. It's about his just strange, hateful worldview.
Look, you're a Jew. There's a woman and a person of color in here. I feel discriminated against. That's all I'm going to say.
The shrinking pool. The shrinking pool.
That's why you have 3 kids to punish you.
Okay, Jesse, cheer us up.
Cheer us up with exhausting.
I'll try.
Well, Jesse, aren't you just repeating some of our stories? Unfortunately for you.
Just one.
All right, good.
Just one. All right, first up. Spotify CFO cashed in $9 million worth of stock after mass layoffs.
I'm glad you brought this up. I'm happy you tagged this one.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I thought it would be a nice conversation. But here's what the headline doesn't tell us directly that I found out. So Paul Vogel, the CFO, was actually fired. So Spotify CEO Daniel Ek announced that they were letting go of Paul Vogel as they look for a CFO with a different mix of experiences.
What does it say? And I'm guessing it was. Does it say how he was terminated? Does it say was the language used like
in
it was for cause or without cause or
he was in the shower with
that didn't say that.
You don't usually see the CFO in the mass layoffs.
I know.
Well, you should.
You might be thinking, oh, poor Paul, but no, because according to a regulatory filing, he liquidated $9.4 million worth of stock on Tuesday. So basically, you have Eck saying he can't do the job. He's not good at it. He doesn't have what it takes to lead for the future, but it's okay. Here's $9.4 million anyways. You could go lick your wounds.
And Jesse, it proves that giving so much equity to these executives is just absolute nonsense, right? Because you can walk away with a prize even if you suck at your job.
We've talked about this.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like you suck at your job, but you have a ton of money. And
it's nuts.
Now it's happening with CFOs. Like it's just wild to me.
And where are the board members fired? Are there any board members let go for this?
This is a controlled company. Of course they're not. This is a fake dual class company.
I wanted to add in some data, but then I was informed that
they're a weird company.
You're riling me up.
Yeah. All right. Well, you won't be too riled about this one, Damien, because you already covered it. But I am also covering the biggest study of greedflation yet.
I am riled up by that.
You are. I know. Well,
it's another.
You already got it out a little bit.
It's another thing that puts the focus on CEO pay and how just horrible it is.
Totally. So I guess my take, what's exhausting to me was when they zeroed in on the companies and the biggest perpetrators were energy companies, Shell, ExxonMobil, Chevron, which we already knew. We've talked about how their profits have jumped. But it's just exhausting. Like, obviously people need these things to live, to exist, but then at the same time they're like, no, we can't take part in lessening our carbon footprint either. Like, we won't invest in it. And it's like, why don't you take the profits that you just stole from people and invest it in protecting the environment? I don't know. I think it's insane.
No, that's hysterical.
I agree, but I had to laugh.
Does the audience agree? They do. They think
I was one of the laughers, but I'm with you, Jesse.
It's just, I mean, come on, really? All right, and then lastly,
I like a come on, really.
This one is kind of just a little lighthearted, but maybe not to me, but to you guys maybe. But what exhausts me is our country's fast food addiction.
Yeah, it's not lighthearted. Isn't that like a heart attack and obesity? It's the opposite of lighthearted.
That it bleeds into a lot of other countries.
I feel attacked.
All right, so McDonald's, there's a series of headlines. McDonald's plans to expand its burger empire by an unprecedented 10,000 new stores over the next 4 years.
Well, there's where that's where the greedflation.
Only 10,000?
Yeah.
Only 10,000. Meanwhile, while I was going through my articles, I saw quite a few headlines about problems happening at McDonald's, like harassment, child labor. So I don't know, McDonald's, maybe consider cleaning up your act in the stores you do have instead of just expanding. But then we have Taco Bell, who has a new partnership with Amazon. They started selling.
Oh my God!
I'm done. I'm voting for this.
They started selling an SOS kit targeted at college students to get through their finals. They wanted.
No, forget it.
Our goal is to
But
get
if you have diarrhea in the bathroom, how can you study for your econ final?
But here's the thing: something that comes in the kit is stain-resistant sheets, so you could both eat and poop in your bed.
Stop it! Stop.
So you can have diarrhea in your bed. It's perfect.
And also, I'm just going to remind our fans, our listeners, that
we have those.
Anything stain resistant is made of PFAS, people. So it is going to kill you.
Just
Jesse,
rolling around in the
this is your
PFAS.
best one yet. Yeah.
Taco Bell, let me just read you their goal, just because we're just putting a nail in the coffin. Our goal is to give fans the opportunity to satisfy their Taco Bell cravings anywhere, anytime, even if there's not a restaurant location nearby, including the students who suffer from the misfortune of a Taco Bell-less campus as they prepare for final exams. I just can't believe that people fall for the fact that this is the fuel that you should be putting in your body as you study for finals. Come on.
I mean, I hate to admit, but it's kind of hilarious to me that they're including stain-resistant sheets.
That's the real winner.
They're doing really well on Amazon selling this.
Yeah,
right?
they had to actually pause the sales because they wanted other people to have. They were selling out so quickly. They wanted other people to have access before it was crazy.
Oh my God!
And then I have to round it out with this, and I'm sorry, J-Man, because this is gonna rile you up again.
Ooh, I like being riled
Krispy
up.
Kreme opens in France, the latest in a U.S. fast food invasion.
What can I do?
But you might think like, oh, the French, they have amazing food.
This is not going to do well.
Yeah, this won't do well. No, there
it'll
was
do well.
500 mostly French people standing in line overnight, some overnight, on the grand opening of Krispy Kreme in central Paris.
I will say this. The odd thing about, and I don't know about other countries. I know you lived in Germany for a while, Ari. But the odd thing about fast food in countries like France, like
it's so much better.
Yeah, thank you. Like McDonald's as an example, it is
I don't know how you can make a
kind of
Krispy
good.
Kreme donut better. I
KFC.
truly don't.
I'm just saying, like, it is a little bit weird how in these other countries.
Have you guys ever eaten a Krispy Kreme donut?
One time.
Yeah,
it is
gross.
a sugar bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I don't like it.
It awkwardly melts.
Just looking at it.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Maybe I don't think it will do well in
I
France.
friggin' hope.
Yeah, the
not.
craze will wear off.
When I was 5 years old, Taco Bell tried to open in Lima, Peru, and the first week, it was packed, like lines wrapped around the whole establishment. It closed down in less than a month.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for lightening.
As an example, I don't think Krispy Kreme does well like in New York or Boston.
No.
It's not for.
We had one in Newington for a short while,
yeah,
but
it's not for more intelligent crowds.
You know what they do that I think cannibalizes sales? When they're hot, when like the sign is on and they're making them, they give out free ones while you're waiting in line.
I like
Who
that.
wants to eat more than one of those? So I would just go in line, eat it, and leave.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, to be fair, I've only eaten like 2 of them in my life.
That's why prices are up. That's why they're raising prices. Because of you, Jesse.
All right, those are my stories. Spotify, CFO making it big when he gets fired.
Can I get nerdy for a quick second?
Sure. Sure, please do.
Yeah. Sorry, did I cut off your recap? Do your recap
Yeah,
again.
we're recapping. Shut up.
Do your recap again. No, Spotify, CFO.
Spotify, greedflation, and fast food addiction.
One nerdy question to the data queen.
Okay.
Or maybe you know the answer, Matt. Why is Spotify not in our database?
Gone over this.
Why is it not in the
I asked
MSCI
her this
database?
morning, too.
But no, I just quickly for our audience and for me, why?
I can't remember, but you're the one that told me why.
Do you remember, Matt, why
they
MSCI does not cover it?
They have a really weird structure. It's an ADR here, and they're not listed elsewhere in the same way,
getting
and
worse.
it's dual class.
We gotta
it's
end this.
bizarre.
But they still trade on the New York Stock Exchange. I don't.
Hey,
They do, yeah, but
Yeah.
don't invest in Spotify. It sucks.
All right, I don't want to anyway. All right, sorry, Jesse. I had to get that
That's
nerdy
okay.
question out. I'm gonna, because I don't think anyone's gonna vote for this one. I'm gonna start.
I'm going to vote for fast food.
I should have. I could have
guess
guessed
you're not
that.
gonna start.
could've
I guess
guessed
you're
that.
not gonna start, Damien.
All right.
That's
what were you
fine.
gonna vote for?
I'm gonna go just because again it's our, even though although unfortunately we don't cover Spotify, so I can't go to our database and look them up. But I'm gonna vote for Spotify CFO because again it just reemphasizes the need to know who these people are running these companies and what they're getting away with, frankly. So I'm gonna vote for that one.
I would normally think about siding with Damien just to sell the product, but the right answer is Taco Bell. That's the right answer. So it's the fast food addiction.
Which is worse, though, the Taco Bell stain-resistant sheet or the McDonald's? We didn't even spend a lot of time on that, Jesse.
I know.
10,000 new stores
I know.
in 4
I
years.
know.
No, I'm sorry. The stain-resistant sheet's worse. It's way
All right.
worse.
I mean, McDonald's is saying that they're banking
It's all
on
predatory.
they're banking on people's economic situation not getting better, right?
Yes, he said this is when they do
Yes.
best.
Yep.
Hey.
That's
So
right.
they're like,
10,000 stores while everyone's
Be
poor,
honest.
baby.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make it drain. Get them addicted. All right. Who won the week, people?
I'll go first. I'll go
Everybody
quickly.
has winners.
Quickly,
Okay.
what won the week is our new show, The Proxy Countdown.
Yeah.
We finally...
Uh,
We did like 3 or 4 incarnations of it. Sorry. I want to apologize to the great Doug Chaw. Doug, actually, he was in one of our pilot episodes that we never released because we weren't there yet. But it was not because of you, Doug. It was because of us not being ready. But we
Well,
released
I'm
that this
blaming
week,
Doug.
right, Matt? It's out.
It's
Proxy
out.
Countdown.
Proxy Countdown.
Go listen
Yeah.
to it and subscribe. And
Packed
leave
full of
some-
great
Leave
stuff,
some
honestly.
reviews. Leave some love.
Yeah. Subscribe, like, send it to a friend.
Damien and Matt worked very
For
hard
all
on
of you who hate
Mostly Damien.
if you hate the brand of snark that Matt and I usually give you, the Proxy Countdown might be the show for you. It really is just packed with facts, packed with information about voting, about proxies, all that stuff. Really, very little of our horrible personality shines through. Wouldn't you say, Matt?
They're probably
I
not
w-
listening
I would agree.
right now if they hate it.
I know. I'm
hate
just
it,
I'm
say
just
what
talking
we're
for the
saying.
sake of talking. All right, that's my
All
winner.
Proxy Countdown. Well, I got the Nordic Solidarity
Okay.
against
Yes.
bullying.
Yeah, we
well,
like that.
with the caveat that this is a labor bully, not an anti-Semitic
That's
bully.
true. Well,
Sure.
That's the solidarity.
History will tell you that the Scandinavians have never given a shit about the Jews. So no surprise there.
I have an easy winner this week, and it's Anderson Guarmares.
Oh, I know who that is
that?
actually.
He is a director at AutoZone, who we covered on the Proxy
Yes.
Countdown. He has 7% influence. He joined in 2012.
Love this voice. I
But
love this.
we
Yeah.
didn't pick him to get replaced. So, Anderson, you can expect that 99% approval from investors this year. Congratulations.
Well,
Stop holding your breath.
it was a great analysis by Matt, especially with that voice on the Proxy Countdown show.
Yeah, I could speak more.
But I will say this about Anderson. He's an incredible outlier for that board because it is one of the most folksy Midwestern see at the barbecue boards we've ever covered. And Anderson is an outlier, right? He's from
Yes,
some
he's very-
some crazy foreign land, right? He's not even American.
Jesse.
All right, I'm gonna surprise nobody because I think I've picked her like 4 weeks in a row, but I'm picking Taylor
Mary
Swift
Barra?
because
Oh, okay, good.
wait, hear me out. She's Times Person of the Year. She beat
Mary
out
Barra is?
Barbie. No. Taylor Swift beat out Barbie
okay.
and King Charles III.
Barbie-
I mean, who-
Barbie's not a real person.
Yes, that's correct.
Why
Not
was
a
She's
real-
a
King Charles
personality.
III
Barbie
going to
is a
be?
personality.
Neither is
okay?
King
Wow.
Charles III. It's not really a
All
real
right,
person.
let's
I
do
just wanted to throw that
It's
in
a
for
title.
Ari. She's a Swiftie.
I don't want
Oh
to
my
talk about
God,
Taylor
no.
Swift
We
ever
need
again.
to celebrate her.
Right.
Predictions.
I don't have one. Damien,
I have
you
a
start.
I have a boring one, but I'm going to say there's going to be a pre-Christmas CEO resignation at a major Fortune 50 company.
Oh, 50. Okay.
God,
That
doesn't
feels
agree.
like an easy prediction.
Oh, stop it, Jesse. Then why didn't you make it?
I am going to say that Sam Altman won the war of money versus humanity at OpenAI, but
Not
now
according
we
to
get
our show.
watch The prediction here is we're going to watch billionaire giving pledge donors win the war of money versus higher education. By the end of the year, not just one, I'm predicting 2 major academic institutions will have presidents resign over the donor revolt. Not anti-Semitism.
This is so
it is the
depressing.
donor revolt.
Well,
it's basically Silicon Valley
care
Bank
about
for
money.
academia.
Well, Matt,
it's a run on the donors.
Here's the boring irony that I'm about to tell you. No one's going to care but me. The reason why Brandeis University exists in the first place, it opened in 1948, is because all of those Ivy League institutions were not letting Jewish people, and they had quotas on Jewish students. That's why there's Brandeis. Hey, everyone, why don't you all just throw your money at Brandeis? It's a great Tier 1 research university there in the Boston area. Bill Ackman, Sam Altman.
Are you on the board of Brandeis?
No, really,
Damien?
honestly, shut up about Penn and put your money at Brandeis. What's wrong with it?
Look at
That's
him.
a solution.
Yeah,
Wow,
drink
I'm
this
fired
is
up.
my
Solutions
prediction.
guy.
I'm scared to go next.
Jesse, call
All right,
it.
here's my prediction. Just months after the grand opening, healthcare visits spike amongst the Parisians that regularly visit the new Christmas.
They're not going to regularly. No Parisian. It's going to be
Yeah,
all expats,
they
all
are.
tourists. No.
Popeye does well there, I've read.
Yeah, from
You gotta read
tourists.
us out. I can't read us out. My
Drunk
list is gone.
students.
That was our Friday wrap up with
45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, short
Jesse
one.
the Money Whisperer, as holiest, Matt Scardy. I never know his name. And Are the Data Queen. What is my name? We will see you next week for our yearly wrap up.
Yes.
Is that right?
We
Next
will
week.
see you.
Maybe.
Do that next week.
If Matt's not dead.